Good morning. First of all, we'd like to excuse the mayor who had some other business he had to attend to outside the City Hall today. I think he's at the National Mayor's Conference. Anyhow, I'd like to call the Redevelopment Agency meeting of January 20th, 2010 to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the opening meeting law. These proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. The Redevelopment Agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. This is the mayor's special announcement. This building is protected by the state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits. Once outside, assemble on the Las Vegas Boulevard side of the property. Employees wearing safety vests of our city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. The mayor wanted me to say that. Anyhow, approval of the final minutes by reference of the regular redevelopment agency meeting of December the 16th, 2009. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move for approval.
We got a motion to approve. Sarvos, you can say yes or no.
Yes.
Please post. Motion carries. Item 4, discussion of possible action regarding an exclusive negotiating agreement between Las Vegas ICE LLC and the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency to conduct feasibility of the investigation of property located at 501 South Las Vegas Boulevard, 507 South Las Vegas Boulevard, 508 South 6th Street, and 500 South 6th Street. This is in Ward 3. Mr. Arndt, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. For the record, Bill Arndt, Director, Office of Business Development. This item is an exclusive negotiation agreement for a project known as ICE, which is Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. On behalf of the ICE, the General Services Administration has issued a solicitation looking for sites in the core of downtown to build an office building which would consist of nearly 59,000 square feet of space, and looking for a site to build an office building or to take existing space. We had a developer approach us by the name of SDA Inc. They're a developer that has done other GSA projects before and also has developed in downtown Las Vegas, in particular the City Center Apartments. We've negotiated with the developer for a site known as the Bulldog site, which is shown on the overhead. It's near the southeastern corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Clark Avenue. The term of the agreement is for 1 year, and we've negotiated a sale price of $2,870,000 for the site, which is based on high appraisal. The project is a proposed office building with a structured garage. It would be leased to the GSA for the tenant ICE for a 10-year period with one 5-year option. Because it's being done as a lease, the project would be taxable. So in addition to getting land sale proceeds for our redevelopment agency, we would also get tax increment revenue into the redevelopment agency from the project. We expect the GSA to make a decision on their preferred location in March. We did offer one other site that is controlled by the city, City Parkway 4A, so we wanted to offer multiple sites for the GSA's consideration so that we could try to ensure that the project is built in downtown Las Vegas, so we'd realize the fiscal impact of the project on the tax rolls. With us today is a representative of the developer, Steve Biagiotti, and with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions or turn it over to the developer to answer any questions about the project.
Are there any questions of Mr. Arndt?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
Please, Mr. Jurbick. I own an office building about 2 blocks from the so-called Bulldog site. Do I need to disclose anything?
I think disclosure is appropriate. In the past, when the mayor owned a law office near the same site, he had abstained, and I think just out of an abundance of caution, I would advise the same. I think there's an argument to be made that your property is not affected any more or less than any of the property in the area. But based on some recent signals I received from state ethics, I think you probably best take the safe harbor on this one.
And that is to disclose and abstain?
That's correct.
Okay, my disclosure is I own an office building on the corner of 7th and Bonneville. Based upon advice of Mr. Jerbick, I will be abstaining on this matter.
Thank you, Steve. Any other questions, comments?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Please. Councilman?
Yes, Mr. Arndt, the Bulldog site you mentioned is at Clark and Las Vegas Boulevard, which is currently just surface parking.
That's correct.
Okay, and the City 4A site is at Bonanza and the Bonanza Main?
It's near Bonanza and City Parkway. City Parkway was named D Street, so it's near Bonanza and City Parkway. That's correct.
Okay, and I believe last council session or 2 council meetings prior to this one, we approved that site for the same qualification for the GSA, for GSA opportunity of development going there.
That is correct.
Okay, so they're in competition to receive the application from the GSA.
That's correct, and I would explain it in that really the GSA can make one of 3 decisions. They could pick one of the sites that we're offering for consideration. Should you vote approval on this item today, they could select a site that's submitted by a private property owner. Or a third option is they could reject all the offers because they don't meet their terms as far as what they need for their tenant, the preferred location, which is in the core downtown between the area of near Bonneville out to 95 US 515, or they might not like the terms as far as price. So in order to be as competitive as possible and to try to get this project built, when we don't have a lot of private development happening, we wanted to try to load the deck, so to speak, in terms of trying to get the GSA to move forward with the project.
Right. And so both sites that we have come forward with are within the redevelopment agency?
They're both controlled by the city. They're both within the redevelopment area. This site, the Bulldog site, is owned by the redevelopment agency. The site, Parkway 4A, it's owned by City Parkway 4A, Inc., which is an affiliate of the city, but it is within the redevelopment area. So both sites would generate new tax increment to the redevelopment agency.
Okay, thank you for that.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Biagiotti?
My name is Steve Biagiotti. I'm the real estate developer, president of SDA Inc., and we're asking for your support for approval of an ENA for this requirement so we can purchase the southeast corner of Las Vegas Boulevard in Clark. We'll purchase the land if we're the successful bidder on a federal government lease for the building to do a new construction office building. The cost of the building will be, the total development cost will be approximately $18 million. The building, when complete, will employ approximately 160 employees. My company specializes in building federal office buildings and lease them back to the federal government. The firm started in 1988. Since that time, we have completed over 40 federal government building build-to-suit leasebacks. I have a brochure on my company that I'd like to hand out, and I also have a brochure on SR Construction, which is the Las Vegas-based general contractor that will be working with us on this job if we're the successful bidder. This is Mr. Joe Garcia, the president of SR Construction.
Good morning.
Mr. Arndt, I believe Mr. Ross had a question to ask of you.
Mr. Art, if they're not the successful bidder, tell us exactly how this is going to work. I mean, is this project still going to go on? Are they still going to purchase property on the boulevard?
The short answer is no. If they're not the successful bidder, they're interested in this site for this specific project. They've done a lot of site planning work, pro forma work. They believe that this site is a good site. It can work and meet the needs of the solicitation that the GSA put out. If they're not the successful bidder, then we would be able to terminate the E&A, and then we would continue to use it as a surface lot, evaluate other development opportunities in the future.
But because it sounds like of your history doing this kind of thing, you're you're the front runner, I would assume.
Our firm is clearly a qualified front runner. There are other competitive firms in this transaction that are qualified too, but we have a high percentage of success in these transactions.
One more comment, Mayor Pro Tem,
You
if I may. You already recognize the potential of what's happening in that area and the surrounding blocks and the things that are going to take place in the years to come. It's very exciting, being very progressive. So I think that this is a good opportunity to be part of that. Certainly have you in the downtown area. And I know Mr. Arndt will do all he can for our benefit to make sure that you're successful. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Steve. I think for the record also, though, that it needs to be put on the record, I think, again, that during the last hearing we had of the property over on behind Irwin Mulaski's site, we was all supporters of that application also. And so sometimes we're put in between where we would like to see something like this done downtown in a redevelopment area. So that's why I think we're going to support your application today as well as the previous application we had also. Thank you. Anything else?
I have a site plan, and I'd be happy to show you the concept.
I don't think we're going to be able to do too much with that site plan.
Okay.
You're going to have to show that to somebody else.
All right.
Mayor
Are
Pro
there
Tem?
any questions, Mr. Biagiotti?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman, please.
Yes. What is the height of the building?
On the building at Las Vegas Boulevard will be a 5-story office building, and it will be 74 feet from ground floor to the top of the parapet. So it is going to be a significant structure on Las Vegas Boulevard that will greatly add to the community and what you're trying to accomplish there. The finishes will be A quality. The federal government has a performance and architecture requirement on this building of having quality structure. It'll be something that we all will be very proud of.
And will this building have an opportunity, for example, what we're looking to accomplish in the downtown area is having somewhat of a mixed-use ground retail. Will this building have an opportunity for ground retail for pedestrian?
Yes, we are making available 2,500 square feet of first-floor retail at the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Clark. At that location, our building will have an 18-foot floor-to-ceiling, so we will, have the opportunity of the mixed use.
Okay. And what type of retail, not knowing exactly, who to choose from as far as out there, as far as those retails that are available, but what type of retail would you like to see should you are chosen to build this development?
I see the coffee shop deli scenario at this location. We have talked to the city about, as we've talked with the building department, of putting in the grease traps and those types of things, but that would be the type of user I would envision there. We have worked with the redevelopment agency, and we actually spent a lot of time seeing if we could get a larger user at that location, and we threw up our hands and couldn't make any type of successful retail deal. But we clearly think there's enough foot traffic and office space, particularly what's going to happen in this site in the future, that the small retail use would work.
And so with the GSA and their architectural plan as far as the building of a federal building, it will, of course, meet all of the federal guidelines as far as protection, being that you would be just south of the federal courthouse?
Yes, this building has special security requirements because it will be, with the exception of the ground floor retail, 100% occupied by the federal government. It will meet all of the current standards for federal security with blast protection and progressive collapse on the exterior of the building, other aspects of the security within the building. It will be a secure building. There'll be a 440 square foot secured entryway, and I'm sure and whatever the state of the art of security items will be at this building at all times.
Now, one last question, and that's in regards to being green, energy efficient. Can you talk to this council in regards to how energy efficient the building will be?
Yes, we have a commitment to the federal government in our proposal that this will be a LEED certified office building. So we are committed to the green concept, and it will be a LEED certified building.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
You bet, sir. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item with all conditions, please. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, cast your vote, please.
Yes.
Please post. You all followed your motion there, buddy. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, Councilman.
Item 5 is discussion of possible action concerning an exclusive negotiating agreement by and between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency and Nevada Nonprofit Corporation and the Solterra Nevada Holdings LLC and Nevada Limited Liability Corporation for a site located at 501 South 4th Street. This is also Ward 3. Mr. Arndt, please.
Thank you. This item is also an exclusive negotiation agreement. It is for a site also owned by the Redevelopment Agency. And before explaining the specifics of the transaction, I just want to mention that this is really part of a new strategy with our office. What we're doing right now in this down economy is we're looking at all of our real estate assets and seeing if we can put some of them to use rather than maybe waiting for the perfect project or waiting for new projects in the future. When we get a good project and a good developer that wants to move forward, we're looking to try to put our real estate to use to generate new land sale revenue for the Redevelopment Agency, which goes back into the redevelopment area and into downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods, and also to generate new tax increment revenue. So that's really the spirit of this agreement. It's an exclusivity agreement for a developer by the name of Solterra. Solterra is a Canadian-based real estate developer. They're looking to purchase the site at 4th and Clark, which is currently being used as a surface parking lot for the 5th Street School. They're interested in the site for sale residential, and this E&A really sets forth a time period to negotiate terms for a development agreement to develop that for sale residential. Today we're not establishing a price, and we're not establishing the specific parameters of the project as far as the number of units, the height, the number of parking spaces, ground floor retail, etc. We're just outlining the terms of negotiation period of 6 months with 1 3-month extension period. We did negotiate with the developer a deposit which is refundable of $100,000. And with us today is Michael Bosa representing Solterra, as well as Mr. Doug Lean, who's a representative of Solterra as well. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions or entertain questions of the developer.
Council members, are there any questions of Mr. Arndt?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman.
Mr. Arndt, would you name the condominium towers that we have in the downtown area that are having some difficulties at this moment getting tenants?
Sure. I think our condominium towers are like the rest of the market. There's excess inventory, and we're going through a correction period on residential across the board, but we do have available units at the Allure condominium towers, the Jewel condominium tower, the Newport Lofts condominium tower, as well as Streamline Tower. One caveat I would mention is that some of those units were taken back by a construction lender by the name of Chorus, which is out of Chicago. Chorus since faced insolvency and went into receivership, and Chorus itself was bought out of receivership by partnership led by Starwood, the hotel chain, with also some investment capital from some equity partners. So there are really a lot of units that, quote unquote, have been taken off the market while Starwood evaluates what to do with those units. So we think it's probably similar to what's happening with a lot of the hotel units, that there's a lot of excess hotel and new hotel units, but they're only gradually being introduced to the market as the market can absorb them. So to answer the question, we do have a significant number of units that are available, that are vacant, available for sale, or in some instances for rent. And we're trying to work through that excess inventory. We're also looking forward, trying to see what's the next project for downtown, what's the next residential project. We think we have a potential great partner in Solterra. They have a tremendous track record in Vancouver and in other places, and really developing the right product for an urban downtown, which is what we're trying to create in downtown Las Vegas.
And with the number of units that you just named off, the 4 that are immediately in the downtown area, how many units, approximately, would you say are available today?
I don't have the exact number. I would say it's probably in excess of 500, but we're trying to work through that. And again, it's a changing number. One of the other dynamics of that is resale units. Just like in the single-family market, homeowners or home buyers don't stay in or stay in ownership of a unit forever, and so there's been some turnover with already sold product too. So it's kind of a complicated question, and I certainly can report at a future redevelopment agency board meeting the state of the residential market, what we're doing to try to sustain the market and keep people moving into downtown and buying units in downtown.
Okay. And Mayor Pro Tem, just one additional question, and this question is for Mr. Lean. Mr. Lean, having heard that and your client coming in to do residential units in the downtown area, what are your thoughts about that as far as moving forward?
Hi, Doug Lean, 5520 South Fort Apache Road. To answer your question on that, Solterra Development has been in the downtown area now for some time. I believe I've done briefings with most of you in the past on other projects. We currently own a half a city block on First and Hoover. We have another almost a half a block at the corner of Coolidge and 3rd Street with an office building that we currently have rented out, and our corporate office is there for Solterra Holdings. So they're very familiar with the downtown area, and they are very seasoned as urban developers. They just finished a couple of high-rises in downtown Vancouver within the last 90 days and moved in almost 700 residents into those buildings up there. So to get back to your question as far as the current market, I think it becomes the idea of being prepared for when the market does come back. Not the question that is it going to, but when it does. And when you look at current sites that they currently own on 1st Street and 3rd Street and paying their taxes on, they want to be prepared with some form of product that may be initially for rent, but it would be built for sale, but a location that would be well protected. You know, one thing about redevelopment is always to try to pick a spot that you have safety all the way around it. And when you look at that 4th Street site with what's going on around it and what area might be saleable, rentable when the market does begin to come back, that's a very well protected location in the downtown area. It's close to the office, close to the banks, close to Fremont Street, and a lot of the other and the new courthouses and things. So it should be an area that would be much more saleable than 1st Street, for example, or way down on Coolidge and 3rd. Where we already have projects approved for that we're waiting for the market to come back. Obviously, 1st Street has another issue with power line issues and things that we're trying to work through right now with Nevada Power. But we felt that was an area that we could get prepared with, get a project planned, approved, and be ready to come out of the ground with. Solterra is a very well-seasoned developer, and they know they've done their due diligence, and we feel that that's an area that when the market does come back, they want to be prepared to be first with the shovel in the ground.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I do, Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman Ross, please.
Just make a comment. Likewise, with the previous applicant on an ENA, Solterra obviously recognizes the significance of what's happening in the downtown area, what we plan on happening in the downtown area in the years to come. So certainly we want to get these lots on the tax rolls and something built on them, of course,
correct,
to generate more revenue in the redevelopment area. But I just want to point out this is a 180-day ENA with a 90-day extension
That's correct.
Am I correct? So you guys have got some work to do in a short amount of time.
Absolutely, and we know that.
And, my colleague, Councilman Barlow's clearly pointed out the fact that there's still a lot of rooftops that aren't filled downtown yet.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of sites available out there for sale right now in the downtown area, and we're looking and evaluating those also. But again, this is a spot we felt that would be a key spot and be a very saleable spot or rentable spot when the market does begin to come back. So we wanted to take the time to evaluate it and see what we could do that would be a proper product for that location.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
You bet.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman.
And I apologize to my colleagues, but Mr. Jerbick, this location is 1 block from the last location, so it's about 4 blocks from an office building I own on 7th and Bonneville. So what is your advice on what I should do on this matter?
Once again, I would advise you to take the safe harbor. I think disclosure is appropriate, and abstention in this case. But I want to make it clear that on this item and the last item, I'm not sure that abstention will be required in the future. I think it's just appropriate to take it for today's meeting. It'll give us a chance to talk to state ethics in the meantime and get some more clarification as to where we want you to be in the future.
Okay, and you are acting as my legal advisor for today, and I appreciate that, so I will disclose, as I already have, and abstain on this matter. But one thing I'd like is that, where do we draw the line? I own an office building on 7th, so I've just abstained on a matter on Las Vegas Boulevard, which is 2 blocks east. Now I've just abstained on one which is 3 blocks east. Where has it become where I should abstain, where I shouldn't abstain? I've been voting on matters in the downtown area for 5.5 years. I've abstained on a handful of matters in 5.5 years, very few. So will we attempt to get some direction from the State Ethics Board?
That's my goal.
Okay.
Go ahead and vote, buddy.
Well, did you become a lawyer overnight?
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem? No, out of an abundance of caution, I will abstain. I don't think there's any conflict whatsoever. I mean, you've guided us in the past by advising us that my property will not be affected any differently than any of the other properties in the downtown area from what we do on this project. And that should, I think, be the guiding post. But out of an abundance of caution, at your direction, I will abstain.
Just for information, though, we are glad you're here, though. We appreciate it. Any other questions or comments?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
If I could just make one final remark for our wonderful tenants at the Fifth Street School as well as patrons of the Fifth Street School. We do intend to keep using this parcel as a surface parking lot during the entire term of the E&A. And then even if we're successful into a development agreement, to the extent that vertical construction is not happening, to continue to use the site for parking for the Fifth Street School. So I just wanted to let our tenants as well as patrons of the Fifth Street School know that we're looking out for their interest as far as parking to use the wonderful facility at the Fifth Street School.
Thank you very much. Any other comments, Mr. Lean, you'd like to make? Or
Just that I want to thank staff up to this point for all their diligent work with us, and we will work closely with them to work out a plan on what would be the best for that location and to do the analysis as quickly as we can to see if it's feasible and when. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would make a motion to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item with all conditions. Any question on the motion? Cast your vote, please. Please post. Starvos? I'm glad Ronnie got back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 6 is citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Redevelopment Agency. No subjects may be acted upon by the Redevelopment Agency unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Is there anyone wishing to speak on citizen participation? Seeing no one, we'll close that portion. Item 7, is there any member of the Redevelopment Agency who wishes to speak on a portion of the agenda? Hearing no one, we'll close that portion.